Tonight, we have a special night tonight, because
Hello! So tonight we are going to a synagogue. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to see what it's like. I don't have any expectations, so I will let you know later.
To be completely honest, this whole project was partially inspired by some of my Jewish friends that I've met here in St. Louis. I've just been so impressed with their devotion to their faith. You know, I've researched it a bit, read up on some of the tenets of the faith, but I've never experienced it firsthand, so I'm quite excited. We forgot to mention it's a Friday night.
We're going inside now. Exciting.
Yeah. It's a little past 11:30 p.m. There were a couple side adventures that happened after the synagogue experience. But I'll just kind of start from the top and walk you through some of the basics of what happened. So, as you saw, my friend Roll and I were standing outside of the Central Reform congregation. And once you enter there, there's a big... the building kind of had like a circular feel. I don't know if that's typical or traditional, but this particular building had kind of a circular feel. You walk in there, and then smack dab in the middle of the floor, there's a beautiful, beautiful mosaic of the different holidays that are celebrated. It was a Jewish calendar, and then as you go around and get closer to the middle, then it has like the 12 tribes of Israel and some other stories and symbols there. There were a lot of other side wings to the building. There was a full kitchen. There were offices for the rabbi and other church leaders, and then off to the left was the sanctuary area, and that's where we went in for the synagogue ceremony. As we walked in, the congregation, the way the chairs were set up were split, seats here, and then there was the small podium area. There weren't a lot of like decorations or anything. There was a wooden stand it was a Torah stand, but there wasn't a Torah there. There were some microphones for music, a couple flags. That was about all. Per the report of those that we spoke with, this congregation was a little bit more reformed and was a little bit more liberal. I'm not sure how typical this particular service and this congregation compares to other congregations, but I felt really comfortable there. Anyway, so the seats were divided, but it wasn't split up by gender or anything like that. Everyone could just kind of sit wherever you wanted to. So we went to the Friday evening service. And they also hold a Saturday morning service. When you enter the service, we had this prayer and songbook, and in the prayer book, it was divided up by, morning and evening, and it appeared that some of the songs overlapped, but I think that the songs and prayers offered and sung at the two different services are different. Anyway, in terms of demographics, there were probably about 35 people there, and most of them were older couples, I would say 50 and up. There were a couple younger people, but I would still say, I'm making a guess here, but I would say they're probably in their 30s, and I didn't see anyone young there. There are no children. And in terms of instruments, music was super important for the entire service. The rabbi played the guitar, and then there was another guitarist, and then there were two singers. Okay, so then the second guitarist also sang, and then there was another female vocalist, and then there was a guest female vocalist from the audience, the congregation, who would come up and assist with certain songs, with the harmonies and stuff. So there were two guitarists and singers, and then the non-lead guitarist also had a drum that he would hit from time to time. It really enhanced the music experience. It was really cool. And so that's kind of the lay of the land, and then I'll just kind of go through kind of what happened. So there was a welcome song. Music was used so the service started at 7:30 p.m., actually a little bit after 7:30. And music, we essentially sang songs for an hour. And the first song was sung without words. It was just music, and it was really trying to invite, light. Light was a big theme. Invite light, invite connectivity, and invite the Spirit and God into our presence and into the moment. The songs were really cool. There were some songs that you just kind of chanted, and other songs that were more like songs versus chants. And most of the service was in English, but a lot of the songs were also in Hebrew. So you'd have you'd sing some Hebrew, and then sometimes you'd sing a little English, but if you didn't sing English, it had the translation in the little prayer songbooks that we had. Prayer songbooks also didn't have any of the music notes written, but it had the lyrics written, and the songs were pretty easy. You could kind of catch on to them pretty quickly. Oh gosh, I loved the music. The the harmonies were super cool. There's a really unique style to the music, and I really like that acoustic feel. And everybody in the congregation just sang along. You're encouraged to sing along and harmonize however you pleased. It was really fun. So we sang a couple welcome songs, and then the rabbi had some people from the congregation walk up to the front, and they lit some candles. And this part was interesting. They ushered in the light. I think they did this about 6 times to welcome in the Shabbat, and also to welcome in the light into yourself, and also to spread that light to others. Again, light was used throughout the entire service. This the symbolism of light and connecting to that light and sharing it with others. Fun fact, that motion of the light was the same motion that we saw at the Hindu temple when I think they were actually burning incense. It wasn't a candle, but you would bend over the incense and waft it in. And they did that a couple times, and it was very similar to what I observed here. Then we sang Awaken, Arise song. That was one of my favorites. That's when the drum came in. It was just very exuberant. Let's see, we talked more about light and sang more songs about light. Of note, this is also a similarity between the Hindu temple. The rabbi talked a lot about the moon and light, and how we should look to the source of light and life. And it was interesting when we saw the Hindu temple, they talked a little bit about the moon and how it aligns with some of the architectural structures of the building. So again, an interesting similarity, I suppose you could say. Then we sang some freedom songs to remember the Exodus, and also to remember other people, and that none of us are all truly free until all of us are free. That was a message. And then during the freedom songs, we added clapping, and it was really, I don't know, I really had a great time. This particular congregation also included lyrics from U2 and Bob Marley, which I found interesting. So a lot of the songs it seemed to be a little bit more traditional, with some of the traditional lyrics from what appeared to be well-known rabbis. And then our rabbi of this congregation threw in a lot of modern stuff. His message too about his congregation was just, guys, we got to connect. We got to all come together. No matter what our differences are, just connect. Come together. We're all part of one. We're all part of the house of Israel. We're all part of one family. We're all part of one. So come together. Let's see. Then after about an hour of singing and singing along and doing chants and such, the rabbi gave a very brief sermon, probably about 20-25 minutes. He talked about names and how names are important. And then after that, there was a special time given to have a time for mourning those who had lost a loved one. And around this time of year, they had a special shout out. They went around the congregation and had a shout out to remember those who have passed on. And then I think we sang some more, and then at the end, to close the Shabbat service, we all wrapped our arms around each other and recited a prayer, and then we ended, and then we all exited the sanctuary area into that grand hall type of thing where it was circular, like I mentioned before. And this was a special Shabbat. There was challah bread and other refreshments, and the rabbi led us in some more songs with the guitar. And then we had apple juice, and we said another prayer and ushered in good blessings and drank the apple juice. And then we socialized with each other. And it was a really, really cool experience. And we tried the challah bread, which was very delicious. In terms of takeaways, I felt really welcome there. I appreciated the concepts about light and finding connection with each other and with God. I also found it pretty cool to speak in Hebrew. that was just really interesting. And you know, we are connected to our roots, and you know, remembering the past and remembering where we came from, remembering who we are. I found that pretty cool, you know, and remembering your names. Your name means something, and you mean something, you know. Overall, it was a very, very enjoyable experience. I would definitely go again, and I'm curious now to kind of see what other Jewish congregations kind of look like.